For boxing's undisputed king, Canelo Alvarez, one shadow looms larger than the rest: David Benavidez, the relentless Mexican monster. Bold, outspoken, and unyielding, Benavidez has made it clear he's ready to fight Canelo, insisting the champion is deliberately avoiding him. As the boxing world debates the risks, analyst Max Kellerman has cut through the noise, arguing that this isn't just another potential matchup. It's a fight about legacy. According to Kellerman, the very bout many believe Canelo fears could actually be the key to cementing his greatness. Because Canelo Alvarez isn't just a champion, he's a phenomenon, the true golden boy of Mexican boxing.
For loving ass off. When he was a teenager, he was a YouTube sensation, playing to packed houses in Mexico, there to watch him beat up grown men. Now, over a decade later, he's outboxing the rangiest and cagiest, and outfighting the roughest and toughest in the whole wide world. Canelo was the golden boy second, because as a top fighter of Mexican heritage, he has a built-in following. There is no larger nor more rabid fan base in the world. Thirdly, he's good-looking, which plays to Madison Avenue, see his Under Armour endorsement deal. And with the red hair, he's got an unusual...
Max Kellerman doesn't use that title lightly, comparing Canelo to the original golden boy, Oscar de la Hoya. But unlike de la Hoya, who had to earn the respect of Mexico's passionate boxing fans, Canelo was born from that very culture, the perfect blend of slick defensive skill and devastating offensive power.
Canelo's promoter, Golden Boy, is so named because the boss is the Golden Boy himself, Oscar de la Hoya. De la Hoya's appeal was based on his excellence, of course. He brought home the Olympic gold medal after all. But also the fact that he was good-looking and of Mexican heritage. Oscar was Mexican-American. And because of that, and because he was a pretty boy, he had some proving to do before he was accepted by the Mexican fight crowd. I mean, if you're so tough and willing to show it, which you better be in order to win over...
Canelo's appeal comes from a rare mix of elite skill, a deep bond with boxing's most passionate fan base, and unmatched marketability that extends far beyond the ring. His resume reads like a Hall of Fame ballot, a true murderer's row of opponents. He hasn't just faced champions, he's chased challenges. He stepped in with Erislandy Lara, one of the slickest Cuban southpaws in history, in a high-risk, low-reward fight most champions would have avoided. In his relentless pursuit of greatness, he's also gone after knockout artists like Daniel Jacobs and Sergey Kovalev, proving time and again that he never shies away from danger.
And Jacobs, close. Yes, I thought he beat Lara too. Thought if anyone deserved a decision in the Triple G rematch, it was Canelo. I ain't playing favorites. I agree he lost the first Triple G fight and got practically shut out by Floyd Mayweather the night one judge had it a draw laughably. But that's how it usually works with the network's house fighter, with the promoter's cash cow, with the A side, with the golden bluff and willing to show it, and is not apologizing for the fact that he has those kind of James Toney level skills to hit you more than you can hit him. Cat slippery, slip punches and counter guy. There have been great Mexican fighters who were also big draws, like Julio Cesar Chavez and Marco Antonio Barrera. But until now, there hasn't been a genuine Mexican golden boy, the glamour fighter with crossover appeal and the biggest box.
But no chapter in Canelo's career carries more weight than his epic two-fight saga with Gennady Golovkin. For years, fans demanded the matchup, seeing Golovkin as an unstoppable Kazakh powerhouse. When they finally collided, the first fight ended in a controversial draw, a result that shook the boxing world and cast lingering doubts over Canelo's claim to true supremacy.
That Triple G won the second fight as well. I think Canelo showed some improvement, but it's also possible that Triple G might have slowed down a little bit.
I think so. The first fight I had at 9-3 for Triple G. That's how I scored it.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, and I gave the first 3 rounds to Canelo, and then I had it every round after for Triple G. This fight, I thought Canelo won. Close fight, and if you gave it to Triple G, I wouldn't have screened robbery.
Right. I think Teddy was saying that he thought the Triple G won, but I felt like, it's a pretty close fight. But certainly Canelo showed much improvement.
He did, and he fought us.
Through all these challenges, many of Canelo's fights, especially his first clash with Golovkin, were razor close, with critics arguing that judges often gave him the benefit of the doubt.
I should say this before the decision gets announced, said that if Golovkin didn't win by some ungodly, lopsided beatdown, that he could lose the decision because of corruption. He goes, because that's how boxing rolls, and there's way more money in Canelo winning. So that said, now that we know that.
Tecate sponsor.
That's true. Well, apparently the audience is like half Mexican. He's a superstar in Mexico. Just a superstar.
Who are you talking about?
Canelo.
Oh, yeah.
So let's see if Brendan Schaub predicted this correctly, because we think
it has to be Golovkin.
The unofficial scorecard guy had it for Golovkin by several rounds. We think it was Golovkin clearly.
Stung by the criticism, Canelo responded in the rematch by completely reinventing himself. He abandoned caution, marched forward, and became the aggressor, forcing Golovkin onto the back foot. The result was a hard-fought, decisive victory that, in Max Kellerman's words, solidified his status as a truly complete fighter.
I think it was clear. I think that the smaller guy backed up the bigger guy. See, a puncher like Golovkin, a guy who's made his living on coming forward, doesn't want to go backwards. That was Canelo's game plan from the beginning, and you have to give him credit for having the courage to stand in the lion's den to get his work off.
But when he was backing him up, Andre, Triple G was using the jab all night long, and it couldn't miss Canelo's face. What about that?
I'll put it like this. Most of the combinations throughout the course of the fight, Canelo led, Golovkin would tap him with a jab or maybe come back with a right hand, a left hook, and Canelo would also finish. He would lead and he would finish. So as a judge, I'm looking at that, and to me, if I didn't score round for round, I'm looking at Canelo and I'm saying that he has the momentum. He's dominating this fight. So you can have a close fight, but there could also be a guy kind of dominate. Like, man, it's subtle, but man, this.
The conversation soon shifted from whether Canelo was great to whether he could one day surpass the legendary Julio Cesar Chavez as the greatest Mexican boxer of all time. Kellerman argued that to reach that level, Canelo would need to accomplish something monumental, like conquering the entire light heavyweight division.
Julio Cesar Chavez in his prime, I'm talking about the daddy. I'm talking about one of the greatest fighters ever. This guy is the closest thing I have seen to a big Julio Cesar Chavez. David, I'm not putting the Chavez thing on you. I'm just saying, you're the closest thing I've seen.
While Canelo was building his empire, a new monster was rising in the shadows, David Benavidez. From a young age, Benavidez carried the burden of massive expectations, with Max Kellerman famously calling him the closest thing he'd ever seen to Julio Cesar Chavez.
You know, I'm in a great position every single way. I wasn't going to go down to 168, but now if Canelo wants to come up, then, I got the WBC world title, 175. After I beat Bivol, I'm going to have all belts. So after that happens, now I'm the one who has the power. Now I'm the one. Canelo said he doesn't fight. He fights for greatness.
He's been preparing for this moment since he was 3 years old, trained by his father, Jose Benavidez Sr., in a lifelong mission to reach boxing summit. His childhood wasn't about playgrounds. It was about discipline, endless drills, and sparring against grown men. Benavidez isn't just a boxer. He's a hunter who thrives on chaos and welcomes war inside the ring. His style is relentless, a non-stop barrage of 7, 8, even 9 punch combinations that slowly break an opponent's body and spirit. But for Benavidez, it's never been just about winning titles. His goal is immortality, to be remembered as the greatest boxer of all time. He's evolved from a raw young talent who battled personal flaws outside the ring into a disciplined destroyer who squeezes every ounce of potential from his natural gifts. Yet despite his power and drive, one obstacle remains between him and superstardom, getting Canelo Alvarez in the ring. And Benavidez has a chillingly simple theory about why that fight still hasn't happened.
Presence he's definitely scared of me. You know, if you have a fighter talking so much trash in front of you, why don't you make an example of him to the world? Beat me in the ring and make a whole lot of money. But Canelo Alvarez, as you can see from every time he fights a guy that's big with power, like Bivol, you know what I mean? And he's not able to suppress these fighters as much as he's able to suppress the little fighters. You know what I mean? So he sees a lot of things in me that he can't.
David Benavidez has made his stance crystal clear. In his words, Canelo is terrified of me.
Benavidez coming in big. Like, some people give him the weight bully title, things like that. Did you feel like his size played a factor in, the later rounds?
Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah, I mean, he's just, he weighs a lot. He's a big guy. He's a big frame, and at the same time, he's got a lot of boxing skills to go on top of that. Speed, his explosiveness. He puts his punches together well. So, he's got a lot going for him. I don't want to really make any excuses. He's a good fighter. That's why I wanted to fight him to begin with. That's the goal, right? Like, if you say you're the best, that's to seek out the best fight.
This isn't just trash talk. It's a belief grounded in Benavidez' own assessment of Canelo's career. He points to Canelo's one-sided loss against the bigger, more technical Dimitri Bivol as proof that Canelo fears facing someone with his mix of speed, power, and relentless drive. He has no chance of beating me now, Benavidez has said, adding that with every fight, his confidence grows while Canelo's window to win keeps closing. He insists that if Canelo ever had a real chance, the fight would have happened years ago, especially considering the reported $50 million offer Canelo turned down. To Benavidez, it's simple math. Canelo's a businessman, and he knows this is one fight he can't win.
I know people are down on Canelo because he lost Bivol, but Bivol was always bad for Canelo. Bivol was always the guy you put Canelo in with if you wanted to get Canelo beat. And I know Benavidez and Beterbiev, for that matter, are like these beasts, right? But man, Canelo, that's the type of fighter he is. He wants you to come to him because he's a natural counterpuncher. So I would say it's like James Toney, right? You want to beat James Toney back in the day, you go get Roy Jones, not just because he's great, but because he'll step around you, he's here, he's there, you can't find him. His feet are fast, he can get around you. But if you put Vasily Girov in with James Toney, great. Tony's just got Girov was an undefeated an Olympic gold medalist, world champion. But if you're going to just come at James Toney, he's going to counter you. And that's Canelo. Against Benavidez, against Beterbiev, I like Canelo's chances because they're going to do exactly what he wants them to do. And against a guy like Bivol, it's going to be tougher for him.
What about Beterbiev?
Same thing. I did Beterbiev with Canelo.
Yes.
Yeah, same thing with Benavidez. Beterbiev.
That's just my opinion. Because if we ever fight, the man is making well over $100 million. You know what I mean? If, let's say, he's saying that I don't have nothing to offer, that I'm nobody, that I need more experience, this and that. If you're gonna make $100 million fighting somebody that has no experience, that he sucks, this and that, all this shit that they've been talking about me, why would you not come beat my ass and collect a big bag on my head after the fight? Like, this is the same shit I'm doing with David Morrell. You know what I mean? It's the hardest fight, but I'm not scared of nobody. You know what I mean? I like I said, I embrace the challenges. So for Canelo and his fans saying that I don't bring nothing to the table, I don't do this, I don't do that, man, they're all scared, just like how he's scared. You know what I mean? And if he wants to come prove that I ain't shit, come prove.
But here's Kellerman's surprising take that completely changes the narrative. He argues that a fight with Benavidez wouldn't just be a spectacle. It would actually be a great stylistic matchup for Canelo. According to Kellerman, Canelo is, at his core, a master counterpuncher in the tradition of James Toney, a defensive genius who thrives on exploiting his opponent's aggression. His strategy revolves around luring opponents in, making them miss by mere inches, and responding with precise, punishing shots to the head and body. Fighters who stay mobile and refuse to engage, like Bivol or Floyd Mayweather, have always troubled him because they disrupt the rhythm and deny him the kind of fight he wants to control.
Who necessarily wins, but that's fastball pitcher against fastball hitter. There's nothing cute there. One guy just wants you to stay there so he can come to you and do what he wants to do, and the other guy just wants you to come to him so he can do what he needs to do. Canelo just wants you to come to him. Oh, I got you now. And Beterbiev just wants you to stay right there. I'm going to come and get you.
But Benavidez does exactly what Canelo wants. He comes forward and brings the fight to him. Kellerman even suggested that Canelo would be a strong contender against a feared champion, like Artur Beterbiev, for the same reason. Aggressive fighters play right into his strengths. He compares it to a fastball pitcher facing a fastball hitter, someone who doesn't fear speed but thrives on it. That's Canelo against pressure fighters. In those moments, he can plant his feet, roll with punches, and unleash the devastating counters that made him a legend. It's a revelation that suggests this isn't about fear, but about timing. A calculated, winnable risk Canelo simply hasn't chosen to take yet.
Breaking news in the boxing world. Canelo Alvarez, the Mexican superstar, is out of the ring until mid-2026. Why? Elbow surgery after his loss to Terence Crawford. That's right, no fights for Canelo until at least April, maybe even September next year. But here's the real question. Is Canelo done? Some say he's been on the decline since 2022. Remember those fights against Berlanga, Skull, and Munguia? Critics argue he's been avoiding top contenders like Benavidez and Morel. Now, about that Crawford fight, was it really a dismantling or just another case of Canelo's stamina gift?
The recent twists in Canelo's career have made this strategic dilemma even more complicated. On September 13th, 2025, his decisive loss to the great Terence Bud Crawford shook the boxing world, marking his first clear defeat in years. Adding to the turmoil, news broke that Canelo will undergo elbow surgery, sidelining him until mid-2026. For now, the king of boxing has been forced to step away from his throne, leaving the sport in a state of uncertainty.
Benavidez, you said he was not scared to fight anyone in the previous interview. A lot of the rumors and talk on Twitter say that Canelo's scared, he's old, David is young and hungry.
Canelo Alvarez will fight anybody. You got to pay him.
Yeah.
If they come up with the money, he'll fight Benavidez.
He'll fight Benavidez. Just
okay.
Andy, one last question.
Canelo, hell of a fighter. But my personal opinion, he's ducking Benavidez. You know, that's just my personal opinion. And I'm allowed to speak my mind. That's just what it is. He's going up. He's going up to cruiserweight, and I'm not knocking him, but he's going up to cruiserweight. And that same guy was he used to be at the Mayweather boxing gym. The guys really getting the best of him in the Mayweather boxing gym. So if he's going up to quote unquote cruiserweight, I mean we got a lot. Benavidez can go and beat that same guy. He can beat that same guy at 168. So he's not doing nothing, you know, like I said before. But when you are put in a certain position, he should be he's able to like me. You know, when I was in a position, I can pick and choose who I want to, because I earned that right. But do I like this fight? Absolutely not.
During this time, Canelo signed a new 3-fight deal with PBC, surprising even rival promoter Eddie Hearn, who admitted it was the smartest move he could make. The deal sets the stage for massive matchups against fighters like Jermall Charlo, Errol Spence, and, of course, David Benavidez. Meanwhile, as Canelo recovers, Benavidez isn't sitting idle.
Now the right time for you to move up from super middleweight to light heavy?
But this is the right time to move up to super light heavyweight, because I've did everything I could do at 168. I've been there for 10 years. But the only other thing I had to achieve was, you know, fighting for the unified world titles. And Canelo Alvarez is holding all of them. So he doesn't want to give me the fight. You know, I've been mandatory for the past 3 years. I've done everything I could do to get that fight. I still haven't got it, so I'm not gonna wait around for nobody. I'm gonna go and make my own lane at 175, and that's exactly what I'm doing. My goal is to become unified world champion at 175, and just reign there, and then maybe go up to cruiserweight. You know, so I still have a lot to grow. You know, I'm 27 years old, so I'm still doing a lot.
Realizing that waiting for Canelo is futile, Benavidez has made a bold strategic move. He's publicly declared that he's no longer interested in the 168-pound division, saying he lost passion for it long ago and is now setting his sights on the real challenges, the sharks of the 175-pound light heavyweight class.
Of the fight.
I know Dimitri Bivol more than Beterbiev, but I think Dimitri Bivol just put the game plan out how to beat Beterbiev. But both of them, I have to be at the top of my game. Training camp has to be the hardest training camp I've ever been through to win those fights. Both of them. A more like a barn burner fight would be me and Beterbiev. Fights like that, people that got a lot of power, you gotta use movement. So I think that would show a different aspect in my game. But I'm 100% confident I beat both those guys. It's not gonna be easy at all. But
in a stunning twist, Benavidez is now actively chasing legends like Artur Beterbiev and Dmitry Bivol. His mission is clear: to dominate the very division Canelo was once told he needed to conquer to cement his legacy as an all-time great. But this move isn't just professional, it's strategic. A checkmate play designed to shift the balance of power in boxing.
Fighter of all time, and there's a lot of competition for that distinction. You know, Salvador Sanchez and so many others, Herrera, Morales and everything. If Canelo were to clean out light heavy, for example, yeah, if he were to stay pound for pound best for 5, 6, 7 years, yeah, I don't know that looking back at Chavez, I'm not sure he was ever really the #1 best pound-for-pound fighter in the world. He was 1, 2, or 3 for an...
Benavidez has completely flipped the power dynamic. He's no longer the challenger begging for a fight. He's positioning himself as the champion who holds all the cards. He believes that once he captures the belts at 175 pounds, he'll control the narrative in any negotiation. This move reflects his warrior spirit, valuing legacy and giving fans the fights they deserve over chasing paychecks. He's building his own empire on the very ground Canelo once ruled. So where does that leave us? Canelo stands as a wounded champion, haunted by questions about whether the judges once protected his throne, now fighting to reclaim his glory after a crushing defeat. Across from him stands Benavidez, a monster embodying the soul of the Mexican warrior, fearlessly conquering the very territory Canelo needed to secure his ultimate legacy. And then there's Max Kellerman's brilliant analysis, suggesting that the very aggression that makes Benavidez so dangerous is exactly the style Canelo is built to dismantle. The question now isn't if this fight will happen, but on what terms and what it will mean. Will Canelo return from his long recovery to prove he's still the king, or will he be forced to chase Benavidez into deeper waters, facing a newly crowned champion for the ultimate prize, supremacy and a permanent place in boxing history? The boxing world waits, breathless, for the inevitable clash that could define an era.